Yeah, because it was a forum about military issues and national security, there were members of the military there in the audience, and they had a chance to ask some questions. One guy really grilled her about her email scandal, and here's his question to her and her response.
Secretary Clinton, how can you expect those, such as myself, who are entrusted with America's most sensitive information, to have any confidence in your leadership as president when you clearly corrupted our national security?
You know, and I know. Classified material is designated, it is marked. There is a header so that there is no dispute at all that what is being communicated to or from someone who has that access is marked classified. And what we have here is the use of an unclassified system by hundreds of people in our government to send information that was not marked. There were no headers. There was no statement, top secret, secret, or confidential.
So that's her new defense. Remember in the very beginning when she was over at the United Nations and did a little press conference, no, I didn't take anything, I didn't send anything that was classified or top secret or any of that stuff. It has all been wrong. But now she's saying there was no header. Judge Napolitano was with us about 15 minutes ago and he said, you know what, that's not a good defense because it's all inaccurate.
It's factually incorrect. There were some emails marked top secret, and there were some marked SAP, which stands for Select Access Privilege, the highest species of top secret. Her answer to Matt Lauer last night was profoundly disingenuous and highly misleading. Isn't it fair to conclude, with all the different justifications and explanations she's given, with all the FBI found, that she was reckless in her concern for whether or not she was securing state secrets? And that's the standard for proving guilt.
They did a big effort yesterday. Elijah Cummings tried to bail her out by saying, here's an email from Colin Powell that says that he recommended that she go ahead and get her own private email and devices because this way you can use contact basically offline. Bottom line is, she had a server. Then she upgraded the server midstream, and nobody at the State Department stopped her, which is malpractice on her part and their part. So people are going to have to make a judgment. She needs a better answer than that. Also, when it comes to military, how can you possibly say you're serious of stopping ISIS and stopping the next San Bernardino, the next Orlando, the next 9/11, the next Fort Hood? How could you possibly be serious and rule out ground troops? If you could stop that, you got people on the ground now, 4,100 on the ground right now, and you're ruling out ground troops? It's an insult to our intelligence, and it's not practical.
Well, basically, if you like the way the country's going now and what's happening in the Middle East, then vote for Hillary. If you want change, vote for Donald Trump.
And one of the things she did last night, she kept talking about her private email account. It wasn't just an account, it was a gizmo in her basement that, she said, oh, it's never been hacked, although,
they don't know that.
She essentially said, well, maybe it did happen.
It's going to be a preview of the debates, right?
There was an interesting observation by Jason Chaffetz, who revealed yesterday that, all the, 12, 13 gizmos she's had, her devices, you know where she got a lot of them? She bought them on eBay. She bought them on eBay because she liked the older technology, reportedly, and somebody was selling the old BlackBerries. So that's where she got it.
That is so crazy. This is a lady who wants to be president of the United States, and she buys her electronics on eBay?
Wow.
Save money.
Wow.
Meanwhile, there's a lot to go over there, being that there's a lot at stake. This is considered now a two-point race or a dead heat race nationally. Battleground states are all within striking distance. So, it might come down to debates, and maybe the first debate is the most important. And the question is, with Donald Trump such an atypical candidate, how will he prepare for these debates? Typically, you get somebody to play your opponent, like Laura Ingraham or Carly Fiorina, perhaps, but that's not really what Donald Trump's been doing.
No, people are wondering who's advising him. Lots of people are asking the advisors.
How's he getting ready?
How's he preparing for this? Newt Gingrich last night was talking about his methods of getting ready for this and preparing in comparison to a very famous baseball player. Listen to this.
It's a challenge, but I think you have to be very careful about it because Trump is like one of those, a little bit like Babe Ruth. He's like one of those great natural athletes who doesn't do all that well in practice, but some extra adrenaline.
The question is, does he practice at all?
Oh, yeah, I think he practices all the time, but not the way normal people do. I think my sense is if he sees you, he'll say, gee, Brett, how do you think if she does this, if I do that? It'll be 40 seconds, and he'll listen very carefully and lock it back here.
Ultimately, if You've got to be careful, though, about how you present your answers, because if you were watching the Commander-in-Chief forum last night over on NBC, Hillary Clinton opened up with essentially admitting that she made 2 mistakes. Yeah, it was stupid for me to have the private email account server, and it was a mistake about me voting for Iraq. So when your first 20 minutes are apologizing essentially for decisions you made, and when it comes down to judgment, that's kind of a troublesome thing.
Newt could go walk in, and he's another guy, natural. He's so smart, he could walk in and do great in the debates. However, Donald Trump has to study if he wants to be successful. For example, if Hillary Clinton says something that the judge pointed out was flat out wrong and inaccurate, he's got to know in detail why what she said was wrong and inaccurate. Study what she said and has been saying and have a specific answer, as opposed to, you're not telling the truth. At that point, he has a chance to score or not.
All right, we have 18 more days till that first debate. It's on.